All right. Hi, everybody. How you doing today? It is a pouring down rainy day in Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia right now. So hopefully wherever you guys are, you're enjoying some better weather. And thank you so much for joining. So today we're going to talk about shift your marketing in a shifting market. And I think it's just so relevant to everything that we're experiencing right now as agents and kind of how we can really kind of take control of the narrative that's going on and use this to our advantage and create opportunities. So what we're going to look at here, just to kind of get us started off, is talk a little bit about who we are, Blink Marketing. We started this company because we didn't find a one-stop solution for all of our marketing needs. And so we created it. And once we had success with it, we have launched it out to all realtors in the US and Canada. So that is who we are. Now, the question here is, are we in a housing bubble? Because it is seriously all over the media, right? Every time you turn on the news, it's something about the interest rates, it's something about housing, sales decline, all kinds of things, rising prices. And really, I think what we need to focus on is that real estate is hyper-local, right? And what is going on in one part of the country could be completely different right now from what's going on in your local market. And we need to get the word out so that folks are not confused and I would say like kind of getting scared or paralyzed in activity because of the news media. So we really need to try to take control of that conversation and let folks know what's going on in the here and now using data to explain our current market conditions. Now, we do know that we're probably in a market shift right now, right? We cannot continue to go the way that we've been going. Is it as extreme as we may be hearing? In our area, it's really not. So in our local market here, we are still selling a lot of houses. Houses are still, in many cases, going over asking. We have a complete lack of inventory. That continues as well. And so with all those things, we are seeing a decline in sales. So it's mostly in our area due to a lack of inventory. We had more homes to sell, we could absolutely sell them. There's enough buyers out there, even as the increased interest rates, those buyers are still out there. We're just getting creative on how we're going to finance them. So when the market shifts, we need to get back to the basics. We need to really be consistent right now in our messaging and in our marketing. And we need to jump back and we need to implement our 36 touch, but we kind of can do it with a little bit of a twist. Then there's a few more things that we're going to talk about, some really low cost, high impact ways to market, as well as kind of showing your consumer audience that you are the knowledge broker in your area. So we know, guys, the most important fact on here is that 74% of your clients are going to give you a referral if you stay in touch, right? But we are all guilty of not consistently staying in touch with our clients. And sometimes when we do stay in touch, we're sending a lot of different mixed messages and things are looking different and they're not cohesive. So people can really easily miss what we're sending out. And with that, what we've learned is that in order for us to effectively implement any type of marketing to our past clients, to our sphere, to our geographic farm, we have to be relevant. We've got to be memorable. We want folks to come to us and say, oh my goodness, we see you guys everywhere, right? We need to be consistent. We need to keep doing it. And what we need to do is we need to keep our messages consistent as well. We need to be professional. This isn't the time to kind of go make your own Canva graphics. This is the time that you need to represent yourself as a true business professional and be systematized. Because if we have a system around what we're doing, we're more likely to implement that. Now, breaking down 36 touch, you can do newsletters, direct mail, Popeyes, client appreciation events, phone calls and text messages. And I pause here because I'm someone who absolutely hates to cold call. So the best way for me to make all my phone calls on a quarterly basis is to do it around client appreciation events. So for me, that's a really good tool for me to use to reach out to my clients, come from contribution, and have a really great conversation. And social media. So social media is not really part of the 36 touch, but it really does need to be. So it really becomes much more than 36 touches. but it's a really essential place where we can communicate with our database and with our sphere. So let's break it down just a little bit further. What we want to do is, in order to have people saying, we see you everywhere, we need to have this really strong brand presence. So everything that you send out, everything that you do should all look similar. It should look cohesive. You should have a brand. Now, with that, what you're going to want to do is just make sure that that brand can really transition across all mediums, so that, you know, if you have a logo, or if you have certain colors that you use, that you're going to use those in every single thing that you do in outreach to your clients. When we do this, we get a compound marketing effect, because people's minds are kind of trained to then always see that same kind of logo, that same brand identification, as they see more and more pieces from us. Now, when we have different looks here and there and everywhere, and, you know, this has this font, this has this color, this has, you know, something completely different, we don't get that same effect. And so that compound marketing effect really happens when you stay consistent with your branding. So, direct mail. We believe in direct mail as one of the key parts of the 36 touch plan, because you can cut through all the digital noise. You actually, whether it's a postcard or a piece of mail, you still have to touch it to throw it away, even if you're going to throw it away, right? And we do find that a lot of times, because our content is written by agents for agents, it's really relevant information that makes sense coming from you to give to your clients. It's real estate wealth, kind of investment building information. So it is really good content. So we do find people kind of holding on to our postcards, and we've, you know, had presentations where we come out, they're like, oh, look, I have all your postcards, you know, I've been getting what you're sending. And that's what we want to see here. The next part is going to be I believe we are email newsletters. Bear with me 1 second here. Oh, Popeyes. Okay. Popeyes and mail buys. So Popeyes are a great way to kind of just stay in touch with your clients, you know, dropping cute little items of value off. What we found is that it really becomes difficult to do that on a consistent, systematized basis. So the way that we created a system around this is to do a mail buy. So what we do is we send out a little item of value, a little gift, something like that, to our sphere, to our top clients, to our geo farm, whatever it is we're targeting. And we personally do those 4 times a year. So that those 4 touches a year, people always kind of look forward to. When people get these things in the mail, they a lot of times they're going to text us. They're like, "Oh, this is so cute. We just got this." One of the ones we just recently did was a jar gripper, and it was get a grip on your house, your home value, your property value, something along those lines. So again, it's tied into real estate. It's branded. And again, that helps us get that compounding effect. The newsletter. So this is a great way to be able to kind of make this your own. So again, same look, same feel, same brand. It's a great touch. You can alter it. You can put in your just listed, just sold. You can pop in a video. There's so many different ways you can do this. But the most important thing is just that you do it, right? Again, system, consistent. As long as you just get this out there to folks, you are ahead of the game. I am one who is very guilty of kind of procrastinating, because I like things to be perfect. So that is not our goal here, right? We'd rather just get it done than get it done perfectly. And as we keep going through, we talk about client appreciation events. So these don't have to be super crazy. You can partner with a township. You can partner with, you know, your local parks and do something in conjunction. Sponsor an event, sponsor a 5K, make a client appreciation event around that. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. And when in doubt, just do a real easy happy hour. Those always go over well. You can do drink tickets, and just always a nice way to just kind of socialize with your folks and stay in touch and stay in front of them. It's okay if you don't get a huge turnout. Part of this is actually just the outreach. It's getting in front of your folks. It's having a message. It's giving you a reason to call them to come from contribution. So it's okay if you don't get a huge turnout. Sometimes when that happens, you know, we tend to get disappointed or bummed out, or it was a, you know, not a great event, but that's really, it's okay. You have reached out, you have done the marketing portion of this, and that in itself is very important. And then social. So the goal with our social media in general is not that we need a crazy amount of engagement, because we don't. Here's the thing, guys. People are watching you. They're looking at what you're doing in a really creepy way. We kind of all do it, but they really are. And the greatest thing about our industry and our careers is that, you know, they have an entire TV station, multiple TV stations based off of real estate, off of houses, off of home and garden, off of decorating. Like, there's so much content that we have in our daily lives that we can share on social media. And so people love that. They love home tours. They love to see our new listings. It's just human. It's a human interest story. It really is. So being consistent though with your social media, again, system, consistent. Those are like two key words, especially in our changing market, because you want to make sure that you're kind of getting ahead of this, and you are consistently representing what's actually going on in the market, right? Because we kind of got desensitized for a really long time on the, hey, I just got over asking. Well, everybody got over asking, guys, right? Not a huge accomplishment, but what we need to do is kind of be telling those actual stories right now, where when you do have a listing, you know, putting out there, you know, we had an appraisal issue, you know, tell the story behind it. No one just wants to see just listed, just sold. That's great, right? But tell me the challenge that you overcame as an agent in that transaction. You know, tell us why you were such a great asset to that buyer or to that seller, and what you overcame and how you did it. So that's the kind of stuff that we want to see on social. And we also want to see it so that, like, for us, what we do is we do auto posting. Again, purpose is not 100% engagement. The purpose is to have a consistent brand presence that looks professional at all times. So even when we are super crazy busy, you know, in our spring market, for example, I still have things being posted on my behalf for me, so that when I can jump in, you know, if I have a minute, then I do, and I make it my own. But when I don't, it's still being done for me. So whether or not you can have you know, have us or have someone auto post for you, or you do it yourself and you schedule posting through Facebook, either way, it works, but it's really important. Again, system and consistency. So let's talk what we can do right now to kind of let folks know what's going on in the market, and let's make a big impact without spending a lot of money. Because in a changing market, we really need to kind of remargin our business. We need to look and see, where are we getting kind of the biggest bang for our buck? Where are we getting most, I would say, most return on any of our investment? And the reality of it is, we are going to need more leads in this market than we ever have before. So in the past year or two or three or four, actually I can keep going, but we're going to need more leads now to close the same amount of business than we have in our recent future. And so there's a few different ways that we can do this, and we can start engaging those. Now, the thing that you cannot take your foot off the gas on is your marketing, right? You absolutely cannot, because a lot of times that's like the first thing people just kind of pass up on. Oh, I'm just going to, marketing, not essential, going to take that out. And that cannot be further from the truth, because then you become non-existent, right? Now more than ever, you need to stay in front of your folks. Now more than ever, you need to be giving relevant messages. They need to see you out there. They don't need you to disappear, because that is going to confirm kind of what's going, what they may think is going on. So ways to do this: low cost stories. So stories are so easy to do, and we all watch them. We all look at them, and they're so, they're at the front of our social feeds all the time. So using things like stickers or polls can really increase the engagement there. And then also, again, talking about the content that we have on our daily basis, going to, let's say you go to a builder's site, taking photos of or taking a video, taking, shots of the model home, doing a showing. If you're able to, and, it's not against the rules and regs in your MLS, taking photos of, maybe it's the views outside, gorgeous views, love this house, love the elevation. So there's so much content that we have on a daily basis that you guys just need to get into the habit of sharing. One way you can do this is literally put an alarm in your phone. So where it says alarm, just, schedule it. Let's call it like, either daily or 2 times a day, 3 times a day, whatever you can do, and just do social post, social story, anything like that, where the alarm comes up and it's just a quick reminder until you get into the habit of doing it. Set the alarm just so that you remember to do it. Another way is reels. So reels versus stories. The reels are going to stay longer. The stories are going to disappear within 24 hours. It's going to take you maybe a little bit more time and more thought to put into your reel. But again, being out there, being present, whether it's a quick house tour, whether it's a quick informational video, anything like that, absolutely is going to have a great impact. Low cost open houses. Whenever you have the opportunity, jump at open houses. The first, even today, I still do open houses, but in the first few years when I was in the industry, I would do 3, 4, 5 open houses over the course of a weekend, literally pack my weekend full of open houses, because that's my store, right? That house is my store. That's where I sell. That's where I get in front of my consumers. And so it's a great way it goes back to the basics, but it's one that I can't emphasize enough. And then doing your Popeyes. So this doesn't have to be expensive. This can be super easy and super cheap. And going around your geofarm specifically and just doing a drop. It can even just be a piece of information in a baggie that you put on the doorknob. Don't put it in the mailbox or on the mailbox, because that will be illegal. But doing something like that is an easy way that doesn't cost us a lot of money to do, and is going to have a high impact. In fact, actually yesterday I got a phone call I actually had done some direct mail, just looking for it was an I have a buyer letter. Got a phone call on that and have a listing appointment later this afternoon, because I could have done it as a Popeye. I could have done it as, going around the neighborhood, which we've also done, but this particular one was a letter and it works. So it's, for us, it's pretty high end. I mean, it's probably like a $9 to $1 million listing opportunity just from a letter. Could have been from a Popeye. So have you be the local knowledge source. Great way to do it is take 5 people a day, send them a Facebook message, and just say, you can use this exact script. Hey, there's a lot going on in the housing market. There's a lot on the news. Do you have any questions or concerns, or how it's impacting your property value? And people, not everybody's going to respond, but those that do, it's just about being that resource for them, being that place that they can always go to get the real information. But doing a webinar, doing a Facebook Live, just showing folks, hey, I saw some crazy things on the news last night about interest rates. Let's break it down. Let's talk about what really this means for consumers. Or, hey, we're talking about increased interest rates. They're at whatever, 6%, whatever they are right now. But did you know you can still get a rate at 4%? And here's how you do it. You can use an ARM product. You can do this. But again, be a solution, be a source of knowledge for your folks, but you got to get the word out there. Unfortunately for us, we've got social platforms that we can do that really kind of just help us get that message out. You can do the same thing in your email updates. So one that we recently sent out was actually about interest rates, how to get a 4% rate today. And so there's a lot of different ways that we can do things, whether we're doing buy downs, whether we're structuring differently, however it is, people need to know that just what they see in the media is not the only way to do things. And so sending an email update about that could be a great, just quick email to anybody and everybody you know. Leads and referrals. So some cool, low cost ways to get some additional business here is you can try some micro events. So doing a geofarm, one of our agents had a really great experience with this. So she just got a tub of Rita's water ice, it was like $50, and put a table out at the last day of school and got a just kind of ice cream scoopers, some cups, like super simple, super inexpensive, and had so many, like everybody from the neighborhood was like super excited that it was last day of school and somebody was out there with Rita's, right? Sometimes it's just getting to know the neighbors and then giving them a market update, We can do other ones like yoga in the park. There's a lot of different things we can do as a micro event. Just think about how you can incorporate that in your daily life. Slide broadcast, circle calls. We a lot of times get overwhelmed with having to call an entire neighborhood. You can do that through a system called slide broadcast, as long as you're calling people who are not on the do not call list, and letting them know that you've got a buyer. So you can do I have a buyer voicemail drops, and you can do that through a slide broadcast circle call. Long-term Facebook ad campaigns. So we've had a lot of success with this, where we're just running low-cost, consistent campaigns across the board, and $10, $15 a week, and just changing them up maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, even once a month. We're seeing a lot of success with those. One of our agents just the other day has an $800,000 listing appointment that she got from a Facebook ad. And then another way you can do it is review and referral contests. So a great way to reach out to your clients is really through this review and referral contest. You got to watch your local laws and regulations. We do everything as a drawing. So if we do get an entry to win, they have they get entered into our contest, and whether it's an iPhone or whatever it is, we enter them to win for every review or referral that they give us. So that's always a really, really good way for us to get purposely additional referrals, especially in this market. Again, we got to go back to the basics. We've got to ask for that business. We've been so used to in the past couple of years, right after COVID. I mean, we've just been running ever since, right? And when we do that, sometimes we forget what we actually needed to do for the longest time to maintain our business and to get opportunities. So now it's time to kind of bring all that back. There's a lot of different ways we can do it, like marketing in any of this is key to the success of your business in a shifting market. Does anybody have any questions about everything that we kind of went over today? No, I talk a little bit fast, but wanted to see, do you have feedback? Do you have questions? Anything? No, quiet bunch today. Well, I want to thank you all for coming on to this presentation today. I hope you found some really good pieces of information that you can take and you can implement into your business today to make a difference. And just remember, when we're in a shifting market, you need to shift your marketing rather than take your foot off the gas. You need to press forward and remember all those things that got us to the point that we really are today. So we got a question about how do we distribute our newsletters, especially the ones with videos. So we can do them a couple different ways. Like if you use like a MailChimp or a Constant Contact, something like that, you can easily do that. But if you just use like your Gmail, your regular email, whatever it is, even if you just do a link to the video, like post it on YouTube, and just so that you have a link that you can share, you can easily do it that way as well. So it can be literally just a few sentences. So sending that email update out, just want to let you know, here's what what May of 2022 looks like versus May of 2021. I know you've seen a lot of things on the news. I wanted to kind of break it down. This is how many sales we had. This is how many listings we have. This is where the prices are right now. So that kind of information, really, really relevant and great to send out. You can send it out, like I said, as a video, and you can do that link. You can embed it if you use certain programs. We use Constant Contact is the one that we tend to use. Any other questions? All right, thank you so much for your time today, guys. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are Blink Marketing and we are always here for you. Thanks.